Let me ask you a very honest question. Have you ever checked your bank account and seen that you're low on cash, but then you feel some sort of calmness within yourself just because your credit card has some reading in itself? That feeling there is the beginning of a credit card problem. Because credit cards don't ruin people overnight, they ruin people slowly, legally, and quietly. In this video, we are going to learn and understand what nobody teaches about credit cards in the world of today. And just to give you a background check, credit card is not income. And the minimum payment is not a blessing. It is a test. Let's get started with an income. Of course, in my previous video, I have talked about income and cash flow. Feel free to visit the previous video and check the definitions and get an understanding of the difference between an income and a cash flow. An income basically is the money you earn after working. You either earn it as a salary or you earn it as a wage. This money, most of the time, it is sent to your debit account. It is debited to your account. You don't have to pay it back because it's an income. You earned it. But credit is borrowed money. So when we talk about a credit card, this is a card that allows you to access borrowed money. I hope the definitions are clear enough. Income is today's reward. Credit is tomorrow's responsibility. So when you take a credit today, it means you are going to pay it later. And of course, we've trained our mind in a way that we always want to deal with the pain later than today. Because if you use your cash to pay for whatever you want to pay for, if you use your debit card, you will feel the money leaving you. But when you use the credit card, one, you don't feel the pain of using that money. Two, you have saved time because most of the transactions are actually very fast. And three, you feel responsible, which is not true unless you really understand how a credit card actually works, or you use your credit card to check in your spending, because there are people who use their credit cards to budget their money. Most of the time you will see them using the credit cards for them to raise their limits based on how much they can afford. But since today we are explaining why, or we are giving a basic understanding of a credit card, we will not go into budgeting using a credit card or doing your business using a credit card, because those are actually good ways of using a credit. So let's go to the psychological side of it. Why do people most of the time feel like credit card is an income? Psychologically, after you've trained your brain that the pain comes later, you will pay it later. Of course, you won't feel the pain of money leaving you. You won't feel the pain of using that money even without you calculating your moves. That is the psychological side of it. And that's why you get so many people saying, I don't know how I got into debt. They did not jump into debt. They drifted and swiped into debt. And so today I just want to tell you that you don't accidentally get into debt. Most of the time, we get into debt because number one, we've trained ourselves psychologically that we will deal with it later. And so we carry on the consequences of our decision, of our bad decisions from today to tomorrow. And so the money we will earn tomorrow will go into paying today's debt, which we could have avoided, because at the end of the day, when you use the credit card, when you get the debt today, and you plan on paying it tomorrow, it comes with responsibility. And that's why you will always talk about interest. And most of the time, people don't even realize that interest have compounding effect. And so you might take a loan today and end up paying it for a long period of time. Not because you're not paying it the way you should be, but because you've trained your mind to pay the minimum. So psychologically, you're just paying the small amount, but you know what? That small minimum you're paying is actually going into your interest, because interest is like rent. Yes, if you rent a house every month you will be making a payment, right? Leave alone the other bills like the electricity, leave alone all the utilities, you'll be paying the basic rent of that place. So assuming that the basic rent of that place is your interest, but of course it will come with other expenses on top. What are those? That is the compounding effect of an interest. Now let's talk about a credit limit. A credit limit is not approval to buy. A credit limit is not a spending willpower. A credit limit is not a sign that you're doing well. So when you see your credit limit is going up and up and up, it doesn't mean you're going well. It doesn't mean so. A credit limit is the maximum amount a bank is willing to risk on you. Yes. And just to let you know, the more irresponsible you are, the more the bank gives you. Let me repeat that. The more unwise you are, the more irresponsible you are, the more the bank gives you. Why? Because the bank doesn't reward wisdom. Bank reward usage. If you are able to use it often, you're able to use more of it. Of course, there is a minimum payment. If you always reach it, it means you're a good client. It means that you will always pay more because there is the compounding interest effect. Most of the time you don't see it. You're just saying, oh, my credit limit has increased. You should not be celebrating because that means you are financially irresponsible and the bank will always reward you for being financially irresponsible. So next time you see your credit limit going high, please sit down and note what have you been doing, because they won't tell you you're doing it wrong because for them they're in business. So let me take you through a step-by-step guide on why most people get themselves trapped in the credit card debt. One, you get the card, right? And you have a small limit of $1,000. You use it, and then after some time, they increase your limit from 1,000 to 3,000. Automatically, as human beings, when our access to cash increases, our lifestyle increases, our spending increases. We end up buying things we don't even need. We end up spending money recklessly, either in comparison, either to fit in. And sometimes you feel as if you are being responsible because they gave you 1,000 and now they've allowed you to access 3,000. You feel like, oh, it means I'm responsible. No, you're far away from being responsible unless you are using the money for businesses. But even if you're using the money for business, of course, you still have to pay it back. So the trap starts small and then increases with time, and this helps you develop a bad character, a poor financial relationship. And so most of the time you always want to just spend and spend and spend just because the access has increased. And as a result, payments become monthly subscription, stress becomes a routine. So let's connect the dots. When you treat credit card as an income, one, you destroy your flexibility. Two, you spend more than you're earning, and that means you'll be normalizing debt. Three, you borrow from your future. And lastly, you destroy your financial options because you're now not flexible enough to quit that job even if it's toxic because you need it to pay the debt. You're now not flexible enough to have extra money for you to save because there's nothing to be saved, because what you could have saved is what you've already used to pay the debt. So here's one truth that most people don't like. Debt doesn't steal your money. Debt steals your options. And then you get restricted so that you have to pay it fast because either way it's going to be deducted and it reduces the options you have for other things you could have been enjoying. So here's how you can actually correct your credit card behavior. One, Spend what you earn. Don't spend more than your income. And ensure that you treat each cash flow with good mathematical calculations. Ignore the credit limit because it's lying to you. It makes you imagine that you have more to spend while you don't have more. That is just an increased access to money which you will pay later. Spend based on your cash flow. That is, if you don't have money today, don't spend it. Don't look for that loan. Don't look for that credit card. Don't spend. A credit card is not supposed to fix your income problem. It is not supposed to fix your lifestyle. And so if you've been using it as an income source, if you've been using it to upgrade your lifestyle from whatever position you are to the next, that is the wrong use of money. That is the wrong use of a credit card. Ensure that each and every time you get that credit card, you use it the right way. So you don't end up paying what you should not be paying. So let me leave you with this. Credit cards are good tools, but tools don't think. People do. So you need to think. And if you misunderstand the card, it will control you. But if you master it, it will serve you. Thank you for watching this video. Stay blessed by the best and see you in my next video.